Hare Krishna. So today we continue our seminar on Upadesamrta, on nectar of instruction from Rupa Gosvami. And we discussed so far first two verses. The first verse is speaking about urges of the body, subtle and gross urges of the body. Yes, and we discussed how important it is to even begin proper devotional service is to control these urges of the body. And then Rupa Goswami explains in the next verse the 6 items or things that destroy our devotional service, and how important it is to give them up, these tendencies, yes, which are against our devotional service. And now in the third verse, he explains what is beneficial for devotional service. Which items are there that help our bhakti to flourish. And because we are here, I believe that all of you want your bhakti to flourish. There is, I believe, not a single one that wants his bhakti or her bhakti to be destroyed. Isn't it? You agree? Yes. So, in order to help us, Rupa Goswami explains this third verse, and he says, Utsaha nishchaya darya tat karma pravardhanat sanga tyagat satovritihi shadbir bhakti prasidyati. Prasidyati means that are very beneficial, that bhakti can flourish by these 6 items that we should follow if we want to achieve this, that our bhakti flourishes. And the first of these 6 items is utsaha. Utsaha means enthusiasm, great enthusiasm. Yes. Our life depends on enthusiasm, as actually enthusiasm is the symptom of life. If we don't have enthusiasm, that means we are dead. Yes. Spiritually dead. What can we do without enthusiasm? Nothing can be done. It's interesting that Baladevi Debushan wrote that if we feel unqualified for something, we lose interest for it. We don't bother about it anymore, isn't it? If I, for example, I don't know how to do somersaults, and I have no interest to do them. But if you're very good in somersaults, you most probably enjoy doing it, isn't it? So, yes, if we don't feel qualified for something, we won't do it. We will lose interest completely about this thing. So, we shouldn't feel unqualified for devotional service, because everyone is qualified for devotional service. Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. By our constitutional position, we are Krishna Das, and bhakti means to be, it's Krishna Dasya, nothing else. To be servant of Krishna is our eternal position. So everyone, every living entity is qualified for bhakti. But there is one qualification needed to embark the process of pure devotional service, and that is no. Sorry? No. 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 Sorry? Greed. Also no. Faith. Exactly. Faith. Faith is the only qualification. Yes. We need faith for everything we do in this world, actually. The human being is the being of faith. Even most ardent atheists, his life is based on faith. Everyone's life is based on faith. Even if we tell a small child, if you'll be good, you'll get a candy. And he tries to be good very hard because he has faith that he'll get the candy. Yes, and I already gave this example of going from one place to another with a bus, and if there is sign Stockholm there, we believe that this bus will take us there. But if it instead takes us somewhere else, we are greatly disturbed because our faith is disturbed. And we said that for every process, for jnana, for karma, for to achieve scientific knowledge, we need faith. Yes. If we don't have faith that what professors in the university are teaching us, we won't follow the process. Would we? Why? Maybe because we want money. Then we can follow the process, but then we have faith in the money. Not in the science. Understand? So, and we believe that by following this process that this professors is teaching us will lead me to money. Isn't it? So I do something just because of faith, not for any other reason, actually. Yes. And no one ever in the history of humankind has ever scientifically did experiments about what he was taught in school. No one. Even the most staunch atheists and non-believers, they didn't perform scientific experiments. And if we don't try out, then it means it's just belief. If we don't perform experiment ourselves, it means it's just faith, just belief. We believe that these scientists have done this proper procedure and scientific experiment, and that this was his foundings, and so on. So, if you accept this, it means it's blind faith, nothing else. Then blind faith. If we don't perform experiment ourselves and check it if it is true or not, and therefore these procedures, scientific procedures, must be repeatable. So one can take the same process and achieve the same goal. And if it is not, then there is new scientific research that says that this research is not valid. And this is the process. Scientific generally accepted scientific process. But rarely anyone does scientific experiments. So everyone's life is based on faith. And of course, devotional service in this regard is no exception. We should take it with faith. And then we can really, Vedas explain us, don't take it blindly. Like all other people accept scientific truths blindly. We shouldn't take bhakti blindly. Yes. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. We live just to inquire, to make experiments ourselves. Yes. Don't take it blindly. Do experiment. Yes. And you can see in your own life if it is working or not. Yes. So, don't be blind followers. Be spiritual scientists. And this is what Prabhupada preached so vigorously, that this is a science. This is not blind following. This is the science of Krishna consciousness. Yes. And therefore, we shouldn't be blind followers, we should be scientists. Yes. The proper scientists. Spiritual scientists. Yes. And so, then Jiva Goswami explains that there are two kinds of faith. One is lokiki shraddha, that what we hear from people, and other type of shraddha is shastriya shraddha, that we have faith in the words of shastra, of scriptures, and that faith in shastra is transcendental. And one who has shastriya shraddha never falls down. Yes. So we should acquire shastriya shraddha, not lokiki shraddha. Because even amongst devotees, there are many things that are not supported by shraddha. Maybe, do you know Bhakti-Vishramba Madhava Maharaj? Anyone knows him? No? Bhakti-Vishramba Madhava Maharaj. He has now severe health problems, but he was really a learned person. And whatever one said, if he asked him, where is Sanskrit to prove it? Where is Sanskrit to prove it? Yes. So we shouldn't take blindly anything. Therefore, Prabhupada said how profound knowledge we should have on Bhakti Shastras. Yes, like a lawyer, we should be like a lawyer who has thorough knowledge of law. Yes, and in the court, when there is a court case, the lawyer, who is qualified lawyer, must quote from this and this, in this paragraph of this law, it says like this and this and this. And in this law, in this paragraph, it says like this. And the previous cases were like this, judged like this. Quotes in court from the law. So, and this is crucial for judgment, for proper judgment. If the lawyer is not qualified, he doesn't know the law, he cannot properly present the case, isn't it? So we should also as Prabhupada says, Prabhupada uses this example. So we should take it to heart and not take anything blindly. Yes, we should inquire about absolute truth. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. And it's not just in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, also in Chatur Shloki Srimad Bhagavatam is also this described as abhidaya, to inquire at all times, in all circumstances, everywhere, directly and indirectly about absolute truth. So much stress is put on this inquiring, or if we use modern terminology, in experimenting about the absolute truth, yes, ourselves. So, if we have this faith, we'll be enthusiastic. I can give you another example. If I would say to you that by making a pullover with, how it's called? If you knitting, by knitting, in 1 week, even if you don't know how to knit, and I offer you 15 million euros, for example, for this, you will try really hard to do it on time, if you have faith in my words. Very enthusiastically, you would do it. But if you don't have faith in my words, then you won't even try. Isn't it? So, if you have faith that something is really beneficial, we do it with great enthusiasm. Yes. But if our faith is weak and we don't really consider it that is either true or achievable, then we don't put our heart into it. And then we try to make it we cheat ourselves and we think that the process, the goal can be attained mechanically. Just by fulfilling some rules without our heart. But bhakti is the path of heart. It's not the path of following rules, actually. The rules are there. We discussed this yesterday about niyamagraha. The rules are there to direct our enthusiasm, not to replace our enthusiasm. Yes, we should understand the proper purpose of the rules. Are there to direct our enthusiasm, not to replace it. Yes. So, enthusiasm is the sign that we have faith and that we have Shastriya Shraddha. Especially if accompanied with two next qualities. And the next one is Nishchaya, to be firmly convinced, about this truth, about achievable goal, and about this path, to be firmly convinced. Yes, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that this firm conviction comes from proper understanding of our philosophy. And first is Sambandha Jnana. We should properly know who is Krishna, who are we, what is our position, Yes, we should know that Krishna is one absolute truth. It's not just a person or a sweet boy, because we can take it very mundanely. We can understand this mundanely, and then our devotion will be just sentimental and not based on Shastra, but on some sentiments, and these sentiments change very quickly, because they're functions of the mind, and the mind is chanchala. So we should know this sentimental approach will be vanished very quickly. It will change our object of affection, or just it will be some fanciful words without any basis. So we should know also that rasa, for which we all crave, is based on tattva. So without proper knowledge of tattva, we won't have even a glimpse of rasa. Yes. Then all rasa, so-called rasa, is just imagination. Yes. It's just cheating ourselves. And therefore there are so many cheaters in this world, and so many people want to be cheated. Yes, because it's easier to be cheated. And we believe to cheaters because they show us simple path. This is very simple path. Prabhupada says it's so simple that we can miss it. But it's not easy, because we have to change our heart. And change of heart is much more difficult. Shipancha tattva ki ja. It's much more difficult than some bodily process. For example, to give your leg behind your neck. It's much easier to give your leg behind the neck than change your heart. Yes. So, for those who are not sincere and not serious, it's bothersome to inquire about absolute truth really seriously. Yes, it's too much for lazy nature. And because we know from Bhagavatam that people in Kali Yuga are generally very lazy as for spiritual understanding, they try to cheat themselves, and in the process they are cheated. As simple as that. So we shouldn't be counted amongst those cheaters and cheated. Yes, be sincere. And if we have thorough knowledge about this, yes, I'm eternal servant. That means my whole existence is meant only for service. And we should know, Krishna is the source of every living entity. Mamaivansho jiva loki jiva bhutak sanatana. Krishna explains in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, every living entity is his part and parcel. So, my eternal position as Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das, that I'm a servant of every living entity. Because every living entity is Lord's parcel. So, I'm servant of every living entity. I should have this understanding. Yes. Of course, we should know how to serve. We don't serve according to whims of crazy living entities. Yes. And because this is disservice for them. Like doctor doesn't serve the patient according to his diseased ideas, but according to the needs of the patient. Yes. So we should know we are servants of every living entity and help them approach Krishna. This is our only purpose. Yes. Even if we are grihastas, we should help our family to be Krishna conscious. So our main business, our main mission is to spread this most beneficial Krishna consciousness movement. Yes. Either to our family members or to other living beings. Somehow or other. Yes, this is our mission. Given by Krishna himself, Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself. And then through his assistants, who are acharyas. So we should also become assistant. That means servant. Assistant is nothing else than servant. Yeah. So we should be servant in all circumstances. Yes, and if we have this proper understanding of our position and what is the process of devotional service, then we can be convinced. And this is nishchaya, firm conviction. Nothing can shake it. Yes. But if we don't have this understanding, if we have understanding, I'm the enjoyer, we will not be servants. We'll try to exploit others. And the whole universe is based on mutual exploitation. We should know this. Even husband and wife, if they are not devotees, devoted to Krishna, are just have this mutual exploitation relationship. Yes. And between parents and children, between teachers and students, everything is just mutual exploitation. And therefore there are so many frustrations in this world, so many fighting and conflicts. Yes, because one party considers that he's exploited more than I exploit the other party. You understand? So it's a business deal, and if one thinks that this business is not going well for for his side or her side, he goes into conflict with another party. Yes, and therefore there is conflict on every level of existence in this material world, only because of exploitative mentality. Because I want to exploit, but other party is exploiting me more than I exploit the first party. Yes. So we should understand this. This is very deep to understand. Yes. So if I feel any grudge to anyone in this world, it means I'm the exploiter. But I consider that those other people are exploiting me more than I exploit them. So we should have proper understanding and be Trinada Pisunichna. Therefore Lord Chaitanya so much, and our acharyas emphasize this verse, to be more humble than the blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree. Yes. And not to expect any respect for ourselves, but just offer respect to every living entity. Yes. Okay, this is nishchaya, to be firmly convinced. And then is dharya. Dharya means patience. Patience, without patience, nothing can be achieved. Nothing. Even in this world, if you are not patient, how can you finish your school without patience? Or how can you learn how to cook without patience? Or whatever. I had a friend who is, in Slovenia, skiing is a national sport. And he wanted to ski like those on the TV, like from the World Cup skiers. And he prepared himself like this on the top of the slope, and started to ski very enthusiastically. But after a few turns he fell very drastically also. And he was really disappointed and frustrated. Why I can't ski like those people on the TV? Yes, he was a child, but he considered that he should ski like this. So even for such thing as skiing, we need patience. We cannot just come to the top of the slope and ski like a professional for the first time. Or if we want to learn some musical instrument, we had to have patience. We cannot do anything without patience. Yes. So it's the same in bhakti-yoga. We have to be patient. It's impossible to achieve anything without patience. Yes. So dharyat is patience. And then these three are our attitude. These three qualities describe our attitude towards the world. And then the next three are our action, our how we approach this world. And first one is tat karma pravartanat. It means to engage in devotional service, practically engage in devotional service. That means shravanam, kirtanam, smaranam, vandanam, and so on. So we engage in devotional service and also other practical services. And everything we do, actually, even if we go to work every day, we should do it in this consciousness: I'm the servant. I'm servant of Krishna. And then it becomes devotional service. Yes. If I do it with idea I'm the doer, and I only, at the end, I offer my results to Krishna, then it's karma yoga, it's not bhakti. Yes. Because I perform my duties, for example, this is my duty to go to work, and at the end of month when I get a salary, I give a portion of it to Krishna. Or maybe I use everything for Krishna. But if I don't have this mentality, I'm Krishna's servant, I do this work, or anything I do, if I distribute books or cook, I should have this idea, I do it for Krishna's pleasure. Not I do it because of my duty. Yes. This duty mentality is karma yoga. Mentality, I do it for Krishna's pleasure, is bhakti yoga. Yes. So, throughout performing our duty, we have to have this consciousness. I'm Krishna's servant. I do it for Krishna's pleasure. I do it for the pleasure of his devotees as a servant. But duty mentality is karma yoga. if we offer the results to Krishna, then becomes yoga. Otherwise, it's just karma. So we should know this difference. We shouldn't be karmis, karma yogis. Karma yogis. We should be bhakti yogis. Bhakti yogi means performing everything for Lord's pleasure. To have this mentality. Yes, I'm a servant of Krishna and his devotees. This is proper mentality. Tat tat karma pravartanat. Yeah. And then is sangha tyagat. We have discussed many times now about improper association. Yesterday again we discussed, because it's so important that Rupa Gosvami puts it in both verses, once as injunction and once as prohibition. Yes, first, yes, in the second verse of Upadesamrta, he explains that jnana sangha is detrimental for devotional service. It destroys devotional service. Vinashaya. Destroys improper association. And in this verse, it is said that the thing that make bhakti flourishes is to abandon improper association. And as we explained, there are two kinds of improper association. Actually, more kinds, but basically two, if we can say. One is association with non-devotees. And there are two kinds of associating with non-devotees. One is in proximity of them, and the other is affectionate dealings with them. And then is the second type of association, and this is association with the opposite sex. Yes. And both is detrimental for our devotional service. So it should be given up very, very carefully. Yes. And it is interesting that in this associating with opposite sex, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, differentiates between renunciates, those who live in the order of renounced orders, and those who are grihastas. And grihastas, of course, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they should marry, they should have a wife, because he says that a residence, a living place, becomes a home only if there is wife. Without wife, the residence is not a home. Yes. And then, of course, associating with one's wife should be also performed according to Shastra, not against the rules of Shastra, of scriptures. And then they should perform devotional service together. And then he says something very interesting, that the husband should never be subordinate to his wife. He should never allow to be ordered by his wife. That means that he should never be hand-picked husband. It's interesting, isn't it? And if we considered it deeply, what does it mean if a husband is subordinate to his wife? Actually, he has exploitative mentality. Why he's subordinate? Because physically he's more powerful. Intellectually he's usually more powerful. Because women are weaker than men. But we can see that many husbands are subordinate to their wives. Why? Because they want to exploit them. Yes. Maybe people are thinking otherwise. And of course, it is otherwise also. Women want to exploit men and men want to exploit women. It's very simple relationship. And because they consider, if I'm subordinate, I can more thoroughly exploit. Yes, this maybe doesn't consider it intellectually, but factually. Yes, by life itself is like this. So if the man is subordinate, it shows that he has not strong principles in life. Yes, and that basically he wants to enjoy his senses and exploit everyone, not just his wife, but everyone. So we should not compromise our principles. Yes, and man should be a natural leader of the family. Yes, and then also the woman is satisfied. Yes, because I don't know any woman, I have never known any woman in my life that she wants weakling for her husband. Is there any women? Do you know, you women? Do you know any of the women that would like weak husband? No. No woman wants weak husband. But if man has a weak wife, it's not the problem for man. Yeah. Yes. Because it's a woman is a source of inspiration for man, and he loves to serve his wife if he loves her. Yes, and protect her. It is his nature. But if a man wants to exploit woman, then he becomes subordinate. And woman then feels superior to him, and she's not satisfied with this. How can she be satisfied with this? Because she wants to be protected, because she's weak by nature. And if her protector is weaker than her, she's completely dissatisfied. Even if she thinks, yes, it's good to be that my husband obeys me. But actually she's not satisfied. Therefore, we can see in these relationships that women are always dissatisfied. Yes. So, we should have proper understanding of these relationships and be a person of principles. Yes. Hare Krishna. This Sangha Tyaga. In every level of existence, we should keep away of Sangha that is not beneficial for our Krishna consciousness. Yes. And Satovrittahi. We should follow the example of great personalities, of saintly personalities. If we follow the example of saintly personalities, we'll be saved. Otherwise, if we don't follow example of great personalities will definitely follow example of other people, because a man is social animal, and he follows whatever he believes that can give him or her happiness, because we are living entities of happiness. Ananda mayobhya sat. We cannot live without happiness. Every our thought, every our word, every our action, if we know it or not, is searching for happiness. So if we don't follow saints and their example, we will definitely follow some other example that we believe that can bring us happiness. Yes. So the saints are the only proper example for us, role models for us. And of course, they can give us highest perfection. And meditating on the saints is one of the most powerful processes of spiritual development. Yes. Therefore, it's very beneficial to glorify saints like Srila Prabhupada and other saints. Yes. And I have also my own experience. I became a devotee because of saints. Everyone, I believe, becomes a devotee because of saints. I became a devotee because of Francis of Assisi. Saint Francis of Assisi. Yes. He was a great saint. Yes. Completely devoted to devotional service. He was a devotee. So we should follow these exemplary devotees. Every devotee is a saint, actually, if he is properly situated. Yes. Even neophyte devotees, if they have complete faith in pure devotional service and they try to follow pure devotional service, they should be considered saintly. Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna. I hope I could a little present these 6 items that are beneficial for our spiritual life. So we should follow them really with all our heart and go deep in whatever we perform. We shouldn't perform it just because it's a duty. This is karma mentality, as I said. We shouldn't follow duties for the duty's sake, but for service. With this mentality, I'm a servant. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes.
My observation is that sometimes it seems that some devotees they lack enthusiasm, and as you said, enthusiasm is based on faith. And even though you have a lot of shastric knowledge, you know a lot, you have read a lot, but you still don't have this enthusiasm. So what is the lacking component? Sometimes you may have a lot of sambandha gyan and even practical service also, but still you don't have this taste and you don't have faith. Is there something that is more needed there?
Yes, because we have a theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge, jnana and vijnana. There is no vijnana without jnana. That means no applied knowledge without theoretical knowledge. But theoretical knowledge by itself is not realization. Understand? And it's not really faith. Understand the difference between faith and acquired knowledge. So we can acquire knowledge, but we don't believe this knowledge truly. Understand? For example, you can go to school and you have to acquire knowledge about Darwin's theory, for example. We don't believe in Darwin's theory. But in order to pass exams in school, you have to have knowledge about it. Isn't it? So, having knowledge doesn't mean that we have faith. So, and faith is acquired by applying this knowledge to, as we already explained, by performing experiment. Therefore, Abhidaya is to inquire about the absolute truth with full conviction. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Yes. So that doesn't mean just to collect knowledge, because we have seen many times that even though one may collect knowledge, very vast knowledge actually, can leave the path of devotional service because he lacks faith. Yes. So faith, we will inquire by proper following the process. So we should have faith in the process and then perform the process properly. And I said, you mentioned this, that they can perform many services also. But in this very class I explained, if I perform my services as a matter of duty, it's not bhakti. That means it's not bhakti process. It may seem outwardly they perform devotional service, but actually they perform karma yoga. You know? Because on the surface looks completely the same. The activity is exactly the same, but consciousness is different. Yes, you understand the difference? Therefore, Prabhupada named this movement Krishna Consciousness Movement. And we should know that this is Krishna Consciousness Movement, not Krishna Activity Movement or Krishna Service Movement. Of course it is Krishna service, nothing else, but with proper mentality, with Krishna consciousness, not with duty mentality. Yes, they ordered me to do this service, and I'm obedient, and I will do it. It's my duty. Understand? Or I won't do it, because it's stupid what he ordered me. Both is niyamagraha. We discussed niyamagraha yesterday. Both is niyamagraha. Detrimental for our devotional service. So we should do it as a servant, not as a duty. This is so important to understand. If we do it, yes, I'm Krishna's servant. I wipe the floor because I'm Krishna's servant. I'm serving the Lord with this. I'm serving Radha and Krishna. I'm serving Panchatattva. I'm serving devotees. I'm servant. Then ecstasy will come. But if I have master mentality, but in order that I can exploit others and exhibit a little bit of mastership, I perform this duty because I'm told otherwise I cannot be happy. Understand? This is exploitative mentality. So we should differ between bhakti and exploitative mentality. And anything but bhakti is exploitative. Jnana, karma, atheism, yoga, everything is exploitative. But bhakti. Bhakti is pure service. Understand? So it's not enough that we collect knowledge. We should develop consciousness. I am a servant. Therefore, this is crucial for our devotional life. It's okay?
Yeah. Sometimes it seems that some people, like, they just, it's like a karma almost. They just can't get it, even though they have so much opportunity, but still,
As this is,
yes, just unfortunate.
This pollution of the heart. Because the process of Krishna consciousness is to cleanse our heart. So, if we have this bhakti unmukhi sukriti, as Bhaktivinoda says, from previous lives, we have performed somehow or other devotional service in our previous lives, then we are more receptive for proper consciousness. But if we don't have this bhakti unmukhi sukriti, we will still have more strong this exploitative mentality, even though we may hear about being a servant. And if we are not really sincere, then we lack enthusiasm and proper consciousness, and we won't perform devotional service with service mentality, but with exploitative mentality. And therefore I expect, because I did so much service, I expect that devotees respect me. Yes. And they care for me. Understand? This is exploitative mentality. And it's completely natural for this world. One may think, why shouldn't be I respected if I performed so much service? But this is normal mentality, normal material mentality. Yes. It's not bhakti. Bhakti means I serve unconditionally. Unconditionally. Yes. Hare Krishna. You wanted to ask? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for your class. I have a question. Could you please elaborate a little bit on the last point you mentioned in the lecture, that a man doesn't have to be subordinate to his wife, because it can seem like he doesn't have to listen to her at all and just lead a family into a direction he chose, and doesn't listen to the needs of the life.
Yes, thank you for this question, because modern mentality needs this explanation, because all the relationships are based on mutual exploitation. So, in Shastra, it is explained that the Lord himself is controlled by his devotees, sincere, pure devotees, just like a good husband is controlled by his wife, by his chaste wife. That means that a devotee, of course, has no desire to control the Lord, but his only desire is to serve the Lord with all his heart. So, if chaste wife means one who her only desire in life is to follow her husband and serve him. And if she has such a mentality, if it's a good husband, he'll be controlled by her love. And he would do anything in this world for her. Understand? It's not then if he's a good husband, he hasn't got this exploitative mentality, but has service mentality. Yes, it's crucial to understand this, because in modern world is so much exploitation from one another that they have to have marital contract before they enter the marriage. Yes, because both are exploiters. And this means business deal. I will put in our business so much, and I expect from you this much. You understand? And if the contract is broken, the marriage is broken. Isn't it like this? This is modern psychology, modern approach. Yes. And it stays on this level. It's not deep. It's not the matter of heart. It's not matter of love. It's matter of lust. Yes, so it's important to change our consciousness. And this process of Krishna consciousness is the process how to change our heart. Yes. And then all the dealings will be stream of love, not stream of exploitation. Understand the difference? Yes, we should understand it. No, that doesn't mean that if husband shouldn't be subordinate to his wife, that he has a license to exploit her. Just the opposite. He has a license to serve her, but according to his nature, and wife will happily follow such powerful husband. Otherwise, she'll be dissatisfied, and of course, she wants to command the weak husband, because she doesn't have she doesn't rely on him that he's capable of protecting her or to lead the family in good direction. Yes. So, and if she doesn't have faith in her husband, that means that she's dissatisfied all the time. Yes.
So the difference between subordinating and listening to a wife is just our intentions. So either we are exploiting or we want to serve together.
Yes. Yes, everything depends on our consciousness. I just explained. So yes, marriage means to have proper understanding of marriage and to be as exemplary as possible. Yes, and we have many examples from Lord himself how to behave in proper marriage. Yes, what our role is. Of course, in bhakti-yoga we know that we shouldn't identify with the body, that the body is not the self, but we should live according to our roles, bodily position, for service, to perform our service, and nothing more or less. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Yes, please.
I have a grandson, he's 17 years old.
Yes.
And he asked me yesterday, Grandma, if I marry a woman who is first very favorable for Krishna consciousness.
Very favorable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then after some years she falls down and she makes my life to hell.
Yes.
She pulls me also down. So can I divorce her and get a wife who can help me in my Krishna consciousness? As we can help each other.
Yes.
And I didn't really know how to answer. I just said, be very careful people you marry.
Yes, this is first requirement, to be careful. And then it is the other point I already made. If husband is very strong personality, which is rare in modern days because they are brought up in this feminine mentality and women are brought up in masculine mentality, so everything is mixed. So therefore the modern world is so degraded in every level of existence, and no one is satisfied. Actually, it is a fact that irresponsible men are most glorified in modern world. Irresponsible man. That means that he has no responsibility for his wife or his family. Just plays for a while and then goes to another woman. And it's the best position. Just enjoying, no responsibility. Yes. And but responsible men, because they're weak in modern days, they're crushed by masculine women many times. Yeah, so it's really crazy situation in this world. So we shouldn't follow this crazy world. So your grandson should become a very strong personality himself. And then if he'll find a good devotee wife, she will happily follow him if he's really strong personality, a man of principles, not a man of trying to enjoy his senses. If he lives for enjoying his senses, he's degraded. And then it's explained in Srimad Bhagavatam itself that if man is degraded, women become hard-hearted. Yes. It's a scientific fact of Srimad Bhagavatam. So man shouldn't be weak, because weak man means trying to be sense enjoyer, not to follow principles. Yes. And then women are hard-hearted. And this is seen in modern world. So your grandson should be very strong and stick to principles in his life, and then he'll get a good wife. Otherwise, there is no possibility. And if one is a strong man with strong principles, there is no question of divorce. No question of divorce. Yes. This divorce mentality is exploitative mentality. My contract, business deal is not good enough, so I'll break my business deal. It's as simple as that. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Such an amazing class. I hope I can video the recording because there are so many points. I have so many questions, and one for now I would like to ask is because it's very inspiring what you are talking about with the high principles, how we are supposed to perform service with the heart, not with the head, follow rules and with enthusiasm. I can see how nowadays, or what I observe with many devotees, they are kind of losing this following, like before, enthusiasm to follow some principles, and more like searching for themselves. Like I feel that people are feeling lost, disconnected, not only from the Lord, even devotees, but from themselves. I don't know what's happening nowadays. I can observe it not only in our yatra, and also devotees trying to, become devotees, but because it's being doing bhakta, it's such a pure level, and I can see in myself having so many anarthas, and that's why also it's not always easy to follow the instructions, because we have to know which to follow next, what's my next step, so what would you advise for the devotees who feel, or the young generation, to save themselves who they are?
Yes. Therefore, this varnashram dharma is so important that Prabhupada stressed. Because in varnashram dharma, you have strong foundation of your illusory self, if you understand. I'm in this social role, and this is my duties, and so on. And I feel safe in this environment. I have strong family, because there is no question of divorce in proper culture. I have a strong family, strong father, loving mother, and I feel secure. Of course, we know from philosophy that this is illusory, but you have strong foundation. And also, if you are brought up in varnashram dharma, you have also spiritual understanding. But in modern days, as you said, everyone is uprooted. So it's extremely unfortunate position. So because they weren't brought up in any religious system, not even Christianity or anything like this, they have very weak faith in God, because it's not deep-rooted in the heart. Therefore, mother is considered to be a first guru of a child, because what mother says goes most deep into the heart of a child. It's not on an intellectual level, it's on the heart level. And because they don't have this treasure, these children of modern world, they're lost, materially and spiritually, in all regards. And if by some fortunate occasion come into contact with Krishna consciousness, they should be given love, example of serving mentality, if we are capable of giving it. So we should first seek good association. Therefore, association is so important. We should seek just association of really staunch devotees who are dedicated with life and soul to serve Guru and Krishna and devotees. If we find such association, we should stick to it with all our life. Yes, I think this is the only solution. And to show love to every living entity as far as possible. Yes. And try to help them, to serve them. This is the only way to serve them. Because usually in modern days they have no principles, not strong principles. Therefore, I stress these principles so much because they're crucial for even for bhakti-yoga. If we are weaklings, we cannot follow anything. Not bhakti-yoga, not anything, really. And therefore there is conflict all the time, because we have just exploitative mentality. So yes, we should follow those with strong principles, who are devoted to spiritual life. And try to show compassion to those who are lost in this world. This is, I think, the only solution. And It's hard. Hard for us because we also were brought up in such environment. And hard for everyone. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your attention. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande.